Hey guys, before we get into the interview today with Scott Surridge, I wanted to let you know that amid all of the chaos and anxiety and uncertainty surrounding what's happening with COVID-19, the coronavirus, we actually have a special mini episode of Hustleburg talking about creating normalcy in this new world that we face. And I just wanted to let you guys know before we get through this episode that tomorrow morning you're going to have another episode of Hustleburg in your feed, and I hope that you're able to listen. For our RadioSt.Pete.com listeners, please make sure you check us out at Hustleburg.com so that you can subscribe and make sure that you get that episode in your feed as well. Have a great day, guys. Thanks.
I won't be defined by your dreams, committed to my goals, yeah. Gotta do my own thing, keep up the hustling. I won't be defined by your dreams, committed to my goals, yeah. Gotta do my own thing, keep up the hustling.
Hi, welcome to Hustleburg. This podcast is all about small business in St. Petersburg, Florida, how the business owners got started, how they built their business, and how they serve our community. I'm Brett Bittner, and I'm the host of Hustleburg, and I started Beyond Your Side Hustle, a marketing firm where we help budding entrepreneurs go beyond their side hustles and ditch their 9-to-5s. As the founder of a small business here in St. Pete myself, I love meeting and talking with fellow small business owners. Lucky for you, I also like to record those conversations for you to listen to. If you find anything of value in this episode, I encourage you to subscribe to the podcast because there are probably more nuggets in other episodes, both past and upcoming. It would also be great if you rate and review the episode to let us know what you got out of the conversation. If you have a question about marketing, building your brand, or operating your small business that you'd like to have answered on a Q&A episode, please visit beyondyoursidehustle.com/podcast question to submit it. In this episode, I have the opportunity to speak with Scott Surridge from SPS Home Inspections. Enjoy! Tell me a little bit about why it is that you are a home inspector. What is it that got you into that line of work?
Well, I first started building houses when I was 17, and I'm 57 now, so it was a natural progression from time that I finished building homes to go into some sort of profession where I'm more of a counselor or advisor, and home inspection seems to be the next step to go.
So not swinging the hammer anymore, you wanted to be more of somebody who's guiding someone through that home buying, home selling process to make sure that the house is ready for them to either move in or sell to somebody else, right?
Correct, yeah. I am the go-between for the buyers and sellers, and making sure that the buyer is purchasing a product that is secure and sound.
Okay, who is your kind of ideal client? Are you mainly working with buyers? Are you mainly working with sellers? Is it a mix of the two, or are you just coming in when a real estate agent has you listed as the 2 or 3 inspectors to check out a home?
All 3 situations.
Okay.
I work with sellers, buyers, and realtors. I've been in the business for 8 years inspecting only, and building houses for 40. But for the past 8 years, it's a referral business. I've never advertised and never had to. And buyers are the mainstay, whether they're a referral from a friend or whether they're a referral from a realtor. We do get sellers. I will knock on sellers' doors for sale by owners and ask them if they would like a home inspection done to understand what they might expect in the sale of their home. And that is a very good way to help the seller out. But I like working with buyers and making sure that they're understanding what they're purchasing with a major investment.
So you talked about having a background in construction previously. You've been solely in the home inspection business for the last 8 years. What else do you bring to the table? What kind of education, in addition to the construction background, do you have?
Well, as I mentioned, I started building houses, framing houses, when I was 17, and I'm from way upstate New York, near Rochester area. And when I moved down here 30 years ago, I continued to build homes and mainly waterfront homes in Mira Bay and Boca Ciega Bay, and we also started Cheval. So I'm used to the larger custom homes. So I was involved in the total process of building those homes, starting as a framer and then working up to be a superintendent and project manager. So over 40 years, I've gained a lot of experience in understanding the home from the ground up.
Now, is there any kind of education, training, certification that comes that somebody who is looking for a home inspector should be looking for?
There are certifications from the state. It is mandatory if you are a home inspector that you be licensed by the state. There is a state test that needs to be taken for the individuals who don't qualify for being grandfathered in. I was grandfathered in because of my experience. However, I'm also a member of the National Association of Certified Home Inspectors, which does require that you do take that state test for where you're located and that you pass that test with a 75 or better. I got a 99.
Uh-oh. Is that one question that you missed?
There's always one.
There's always one, of course. Now, if you're a home buyer and you're entering the home inspection process, what is it that they should expect in that whole thing? From choosing a home inspector, getting the inspection done, understanding what it is and what it means. Like, walk us through that whole thing, because that's something that I imagine, especially first-time home buyers and probably even first-time home sellers, have no idea about.
That's very true. But what you want to do is to be able to check the background of the home inspector that you're choosing. Ask them questions. Are they licensed in that state? What is their experience in building homes? Were they a handyman? Were they an electrician? Were they an actual contractor? I myself do still have my building license for the state of Florida, but I don't use it. It's on a voluntary hiatus, I guess you'd say.
Okay.
But the buyers should always ask for references and do background checks and make sure that they understand who the person is that's going to be doing the inspection. They should expect their inspector to go through the entire home, be in the attic, walk the roof, take the air conditioning system apart and look at the coils, take the cover off of the electrical panel, make sure the wiring inside is proper, check outlets, windows, everything that's accessible they should be testing. Looking in cabinets, under everything, and if you have to move a couple of things in the home to be able to be complete, move a couple of things.
Now, how long should a process like this take when they're actually doing the inspection?
It depends on the square footage of the home. I mean, an average home here in Florida is somewhere between 1,500 and 2,500 square feet. Smaller ones are generally an hour and a half. You can go, 2 hours. I myself generally take about 2 hours for 2,500 square foot home. I work alone, so it's just me. If you have two people, sometimes it takes a little bit less, but there's no reason to spend 4 hours and have a 60-page report for a 2,500 square foot home.
You mentioned a number of pages in the report. What's the average that you would expect to see for a home that's ready to be closed on, essentially?
Well, in general, like a 2,000 square foot home, somewhere between 25 and 35 pages of information.
Okay.
That includes photos and descriptions of everything that's going on with it. Written in layman's terms mainly, but enough technical term that the licensed individual that has to do repairs understands what's going on.
Now, following a home inspection, what is that home seller going to have to go through?
The seller is going to talk to the selling agent and the buyer agent talk back and forth, and the buyer will make requests of what might they want fixed, and then seller, depending on the contract that's written, seller may have to fix certain things, but generally the safety issues are what the seller should have to fix. Now, in the state of Florida, you do not have to bring the house up to current code when you're selling it. However, if there are safety issues, even if you have an as-is contract, generally the seller should fix those items.
So we're talking major things where, like an electrical issue, a wiring thing, where it's obvious that someone's safety is going to be in jeopardy.
Correct. Yeah, there's certain electrical panels that insurance companies won't insure Sylvania, Stablock, Federal Pacific, specific names that insurance companies have deemed unsafe. Different types of electrical wiring. You're supposed to have GFIs in certain wet areas. Certain years they weren't required, but I still suggest they put them in. Same thing with smoke detectors in bedrooms. It's very common that you don't find smoke detectors in bedrooms in older homes that are 90s or earlier. I always suggest that you put those in.
Okay. Now, what are you doing currently to ensure that you have a full calendar of inspections?
Mainly, I have a Facebook page that's SPS Home Inspections LLC, and my business is word of mouth and referrals. So I don't generally advertise because I'm just so busy. I mean, I'm doing 10, 15 a week on average. 2017, I did 449 inspections.
Wow.
And in 2019, I did 432.
Okay. So you're keeping pretty busy.
I'm very busy, yes, sir. If you are what you show you are. If you're good at your profession, the referrals come.
Yeah. You're adding value to somebody's transaction.
Correct. Yeah. When I'm being referred by a realtor, especially, now I'm an extension of that realtor.
Right.
So
your reputation is not the only one on the line, theirs is as well.
Correct.
That's awesome. I'm glad that you see things that way, because a lot of people are in it transactionally and not realizing how much relational, even when it's generally a one-off service, because I mean, how often are you going to have a home inspection done? Maybe 2-3 times in your lifetime.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, it's essential that you have customer service in this business, and you make sure you have a conversation with the buyers, and they understand exactly what they're getting, and when there are items that need to be corrected, they understand why they need to be corrected and how they should be corrected.
Now, what is something that you're looking to do to help grow? I mean, you seem pretty busy. Is there anything that you can foresee utilizing to help either maintain or increase how busy you are?
Yes, I'm always looking for new ventures, but I originally started over in Hillsborough County, over in the South Shore area, and moved over here with my wife to St. Pete Beach last year, April. And I've been marketing myself in the local areas. There's a lot of real estate firms over here, and I go and talk to realtors, and slowly moving, things in this area. And
trying to do more work on the Pinellas side of the bay then?
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay. What do you think, if you had to estimate the biggest surprise that you found when performing a home inspection? I mean, we're talking like an alligator under the house kind of a surprise, like something you completely did not expect.
Yeah, nothing like that.
Oh,
A couple rodents underneath homes here and there, snakes, but nothing drastic. But the surprise item that I found was a garage slab in a house that had collapsed in one corner. And there was no structural damage on the exterior walls. There was no tree roots in the area, no plumbing in the area. It ended up being that the material underneath the house was not compacted properly, and the garage floor sank. That was from an engineer.
Okay. What is something that a homeowner probably doesn't know about their home when they're selling it that your average home inspector is going to figure out and they're going to find?
Electrical panels and aluminum wiring. Over here in St. Pete and St. Pete Beach area, homes that were built in the 70s due to the Vietnam War, they stopped using copper because they needed the copper for bullets. So they started using aluminum wiring. And it was very prevalent in the late 60s, early 70s. You do not need to completely rewire the house. You need to have corrections made with the aluminum wiring connectors. Licensed electricians would complete that service.
Okay. Now, is there anything that you are reading, watching, or listening to help you in business and to grow your business?
I get a monthly newsletter from the National Association of Certified Home Inspectors, and that has a lot of good information in it. I'm doing a lot of research online for codes like to go to sleep at night, so break out the code book and read that a little bit.
Oh, you mean that's not what you're reading on the beach?
No. But there's always information with some of the pages on the on websites for the National Association Certified Home Inspectors. There's conversations going on, so you learn a lot by reading different things. The inspectors will put in, well, I had this problem, and what's the remedy? So there's a lot of learning there, and also we have to have recurring credits for our license, so we always have to take new courses and keep up to date on that.
Okay. When you're not on a ladder, shining your flashlight, carrying your clipboard around, inspecting a home, what's your favorite thing to do here in St. Pete?
Being on the water. My wife and I are very much saltwater people, and we take the boat out, go to the sandbar, have a couple of beers, and just relax and watch life go by.
That sounds awesome. That's a great reason to have left upstate New York to be down here and enjoy the 300 plus days of sunshine that we get. And
works for me every weekend.
Awesome. So where can people find out more about you and SPS Home Inspections online? Is there a phone number that they can call? This is your opportunity to plug yourself so people can find you and hire you to inspect their home.
The best way to reach me, my phone number is 813-245-6088, or you can go to my Facebook page, which is SPS Home Inspections LLC. There's different areas there where you can contact me and also make an appointment. You can read the reviews, and I look forward to talking to new people every day.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience of Hustleburg?
Not at this time, except make sure if you are getting purchasing a home, get a home inspection. It's worth the investment.
Awesome. Scott, thank you so much. I really appreciate you appearing on Hustleburg.
I appreciate your time, sir. Thank you.
Hey, you did it. You've just listened to Hustleburg. To thank you for listening, we have a free guide to help you get started marketing your business online, aptly named our Getting Started Guide, available at beyondyoursidehustle.com/gettheguide. See how to begin with the first 3 things you should be doing for your business. Speaking of businesses, if you're a small business owner in St. Pete and you'd like to be a guest on an episode of the podcast, please let us know at beyondyoursidehustle.com/podcastguest. If you got something of value from this episode, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcast app. This is something small that you can do to help us shine the spotlight on all the great businesses St. Pete has to offer. The music in this episode is Defining Your Dreams by my friend Rhymer Educator. You can listen to his latest single, The Last One, on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to great music. Thanks so much for listening, and we look forward to sharing with you how we do business in the Burg.